Hi guys, welcome back to another video. What do we have today? We have a little 2016 Opel Astra. Trying to give you miles on it. I don't know what code 16 is about, but give me miles. Nope. She's just going to run through a list of codes here. Anyway. Basically, the long and short of this thing is it's coming from another garage. They have diagnosed it as the timing chain after jumping. It was rattling for a couple of weeks, months, days, whatever it may be. And all of a sudden now it's no compression. And what I saw the other day, which I'm not seeing right now, I saw the camshaft not rotating when I turned the engine, okay? It's quite simple, quite straightforward. Lo and behold, when I'm at it there now, I do have a timing chain turning. So, sorry, I do have a camshaft turning. So, I'm not even going to go in and do compression tests, and I don't know what miles are on this thing, but we will figure it out in a second. Maybe it will happen at the end of the video or something. So what's good, I have a little bar pressing the clutch, and I can do that. And right now, look, we do have a camshaft rotating, but I did, and definitely, it was parked in the corner for the last week and a half or so while I was waiting to get it in, and God knows how long it was parked in the other workshop for. But right now in the immediate, what we're going to do is I'm going to pull off the coil pack rocker cover, just get a visual inside underneath, see what's happening, and I believe we're after a timing chain. Now I don't know, do we have more than that damaged? Rockers, camshafts, valves, but to start with, we'll pull out the 6 or 8 or 10 bolts holding on the rock cover and the coil pack, okay? And we'll get a visual in here and see what we're up against. But basically we're after, or going to do, or what I'm planning to do is a timing chain. I think I have the timing chain sitting around there somewhere as well, do I? I do. So we have a big Apex box here. I can't open it without breaking it, and I do dislike, and I suppose I'm going to be using it, aren't I? Unless it's wrong. Actually, there we go, little screw. Oh. Should have had something to hand, but I wasn't actually planning on it. And the screw anyway. It's not. Yeah, there we go. I was going to say it's not doing very well. What? Actually, look at the size of the little timing chain kit. But there's our dancing man gasket. Side in our timing chain kit. Then we have guides, oil seals, etc, etc. Right, we're going to get the rocker cover off, get the coil pack off, and just see what Okay guys, I've simply removed our rocker cover and our coil pack, and the first thing noticeably I see, well, number one, we have a whole load of slack on a timing chain. Number two, sitting in there I can see the rockers are gone off the hydraulic tappets nearly all the way along on the intake camshaft side. That one's on, that's off, and actually that one's on. But if you look in here, you can see the rockers flopping around the place, and I don't think we have damage done here on the exhaust side, just purely because they're all sitting in place. I don't see anything strangely amiss there. Now, I had this debate somewhat relatively recently with a chap on YouTube. It wasn't a debate, it was just a comment. In diesels, or at least what I'm seeing in diesels, is we've a valve straight down, which they do be, vertical. When they get a bang, they just get a bang straight up the way. But if they're going in at an angle, and in this engine, you can actually see very vividly, I don't know if you can see it, maybe from the side you might get to see it, but the valves are basically heading in like that and like that. Okay, the minute they get a tip, they're just going to bend the nose of the valve, so it'll hit it and just, bend it up that way without breaking rockers or any of that stuff. So straight away, this one will bend valves. Diesel one generally won't. So what we have to do here, we have to pull the head off it. We have to, I suppose, primarily pull off the timing cover on this side and get the head up. I have gotten a few, my compressor started, sorry lads. I have gotten a few bits and pieces, but it's a case of just pull it apart, put it back together, fast as we can. Being an older petrol-y style engine, I'm actually going to fit this thing back together without even skimming the head. And I'm after time here, which is probably mad, but that's what I'm going to do. Have a box here, have a head gasket, rock cover gasket, head bolts and exhaust No, intake valve.
Okay, so far I've just started taking off a couple of bits and pieces. Wiring loom, you know, normal couple of clips, phasers, camshaft position sensors, oil pressure sensor, AC compressor, wiring loom and stuff. Pulled back, just hung up there. Starting to get a bit of room around here. It's not that hard of a hit, I'm hoping, comparing to, you know, the normal diesely things. Going to pull off that water housing off, get it out of my way. Then at that stage I'm left with exhaust, intake manifold and timing chain. So for now I'm going to roll in here and intake manifold and hopefully get that up and out of my way as a good starting point. And yeah, this thing and then roll in there. Intake manifold off, not actually that hard, no work from underneath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or that's 6 bolts anyway. They took it out, a couple of lock connectors which we took off a few moments ago, but it all came up from the top relatively easy, sitting over there on the ground, ready for us to rock and roll. At this stage I'm going to roll forward. I'm going to start taking off these yokes and hopefully they won't snap or break on the way out. Again, fingers crossed. I'm after removing my air conditioning pump, leaving it connected because I don't want to drain or refill the AC gas. So that's just sitting to one side to give me a bit of room to get in at some of these bolts in the exhaust manifold. Yeah, I have to loosen out one or two of them. They came relatively easy, so I'm going to keep on going the way I'm going. Exhaust manifold off. I've pulled off the alternator belt. I've now supported the engine. It's only a jack stand underneath with a big lump of rubber underneath it, pad. And now I'm taking off this engine mount to gain a bit of room or a bit of access so we can get in at our timing chain cover. Possibly have to take off our alternator off of it just to give a bit of room. But yeah, we're running into a couple of bolts here now on the mount, and then we'll have a couple of going in across and into the cover. Then we'll start gaining a bit of access and see where we're at. At this stage, guys, we're starting to get into the nitty gritty of it. So water pump I have taken off. I took off the alternator. All very, very easy. If you're attempting this job, any of you, that stuff is that easy that if you can't get them off, that the problem arises from there. Now, air conditioning pump off, and just in behind the air conditioning pump, actually right down there. Oh, my little O-ring fell off. So it's in further, in maybe 3-4 inches, sitting in there. Out comes that little bung. What size did I have that? I was going to give you maybe size with it. This there. It's a T55 Torx, okay, for that, to remove that. Then I'm going to rotate my engine with an E18 Torx. That fits on to the crank pulley down here. Now I'm going to rotate my engine around. We have gotten our locking kit. Okay. See, you want an old one? It's actually probably for the older version of an engine, but this and this, the important bits that I want, are the exact same. So this piece anyway here, maybe I'm zooming in a bit more far. This piece here is going to sit in here, okay? And once that's in there, I'm going to rotate my engine around and that locks in and locks the engine. I'm probably going to get a reference here, pull out 4 plugs actually, and get a reference just for TDC and spin until I see some reference screwdriver or something just coming up, and then I'll get her to lock into place. And at that stage then we'll probably see how far out of whack our timing up top is. Doesn't seem crack or jack, to be honest, at this point in time, because both of them are kind of at roughly that angle. But they would have jumped back around because it wasn't rotating, and then all of a sudden it started rotating again, as I said in the start of the video. So right now anyway, we're going to get our TDC and we'll start locking up and taking off timing covers and crank pulleys, etc. Okay, do not take out that nut, take off that pulley, whatever it is, without getting that into place first. Okay. I'm hitting my first little problem. My first little problem is that when I'm rotating my crank down here, I'm just getting a tick, tick, and it's not actually pulling the chain. When I go a certain amount, then I'm getting a valve piston interference, so I'm getting a lock. So right now I'm actually going to roll on. I'm going to pull off that cam just because of the position that I'm in. I'm going to pull off that crank pulley. Sorry, I don't know what I called it a moment ago. I'm going to pull off that crank pulley, I'm going to put off the timing cover. I'm going to take the head off. Right now I have no interference. Everything, the engine is rotating fairly freely, so I'm just going to throw a large power tool on that impact gun and whack it off, and then run out a rank of bolts to get our cover off. It's enough. Oh, yucky. Right, here's it out. I probably should have drained oil out of it. But, look at that. Look at that. It's the bolt, is it? Wow. I actually do not know. That took some rattling and banging, didn't it? To wear off that shiny bit in there and do that. I actually don't know what that is. Looks like a pipe of some sort. And then the bolt, I'd say out of a tensioner or a guide or something has gone somewhere. Anyway, right. But that bit of plastic has broken. Look, clean off down here anyway. We know about the bits up here broken, so I'm definitely draining the oil. I just didn't do it primarily to take it apart, so I'm going to drain the oil out and start seeing where the heck all these bits and pieces are gone. The joys are probably just as well. These things can mix oil and water a lot because of these dancing man gaskets to break and fail, and you'd never think just, hey, a dancing man gasket versus a head gasket. You'd always think the worst, but here's where we're at anyway, guys. We better start taking the chain off. I get the head off it and we'll start doing a little tidying up in here. The caps, guys, are numbered. So we have, I don't know if you can see it. That's one anyway. 2. Keep going. Very hard to see them, but anyways, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. You can actually probably see 10 over there, can you? Yeah, you can see 10 on that relatively easy. That one's number 9. Just numbering of the caps. Put them somewhere nice and safe. Okay, right guys, we have just popped the head off and I can see valves very, very bent in here. I'll do that. These are all the intakes actually that bent. It doesn't look like the exhaust ones got bent at all. And yeah, time to get this over to a clean surface and we'll try and get these 8 valves renewed. 8 of them I ordered, I think. I hope I ordered the right ones when I look in here. Gee, I hope I ordered intake rather than exhaust. Anyway, the misdemeanors of running a business. Sometimes you get sidetracked. But anyway, we'll go and get these things over, get the valves out, and then see if we can get in new ones, grind them into place, and squeeze this thing back on. Head transferred over here. I am after popping out 8 bent valves with our spring compressor. Bent valves sitting there. Can't tell you where 2 of them are gone missing to, because when I've taken part I only have 6. Anyway, they're around somewhere. Our valves are correct, so I popped 1 out of a packet here. What am I doing? I'm going to clean up our cylinder head now, and let me know in the comments what you think. It's probably a bad job not skimming it, but right now this is the choice I'm making of kind of a timescale deadline to my head, and I need to get this done. I'm going to be replacing valve stem oil seals, 8 valves, and reseating them once I've my things cleaned up and it reassembled. But at this point we're just going to clean up, grind them in, and I'll show you them once we're ready to go back on. Valve stem oil seals, but I haven't changed them as of yet. What I'm doing is just doing a little bit of a fast grind on these valves that are going in. I'm using coarse, and then we're going to roll on and into fine grinding paste, and very old fashioned maybe or so, but I'm just doing it by hand, and the little suction cup stick as we call it, and then we're going to be just while I'm doing it with 2 hands, we're just grinding them into place. Have paste sitting on all of them ready to rock and roll across the way. So I'll hit them bang, 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 bang all the way across, and yeah, roll on into the fine stuff, and then we'll fill them with fluid just to see and make sure they're not leaking. 8 valves in place, they have to be ground in. 8 valves, them oil seals on this side, 8 on that side. Valves that have been ground in on that side. Also here, this little thing there that had ground or broke away, it's just a little tab for holding the top of the actual time and chain guide. It's a roll pin, so we just put in a new roll pin in there. I have to drill a bit of a bolt out of the block, all right, but other than that, we're ready to go back together. Block cleaned up, head gasket on it, locking pin locked in there, and that's at TDC at number 1 and 4. Time for the head to sit back on. I think I'm going to sit the head back on, sit it down, squeeze it up, torque it up, start getting rid of some of these bits and pieces and getting back gone out of my way, and start rolling back into a timing chain then in a couple of minutes once I do a bit of reassembly here. Just get some of the parts maybe gone off the ground and stuff. Cylinder head sat in, sat on, new head bolt for it, torqued, in case you want to know. Very small actually. 15 is the first rank, so you know you work out the way. 15 Newton meters, 35 Newton meters, and then 180 degrees for cylinder head bolts, okay? They're probably the only real torques that I'm ever going to worry about. So all of you will probably panicking on stupid, silly little bolts. I don't really worry about these caps and all that crack. Just experience will tell you when they're tight or not, or going to break or not. So, yeah, anyway, roll on. So renew the bolts, 15, 35, 180. Time for the camshafts. Camshafts on, tightened. Just I took out the locking. I actually put in the locking pin here just to squeeze them down so you can see our alignments here. I just want to make sure that our cams will rotate freely, and they will. I haven't done full rotation, I'm only just making sure they're not caught by the caps anywhere and everything as it should do. Again, same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, back in place. Numbers you don't need to see right now. The camshafts are also a solid lump, so they can't any lobes rotate on them. Probably could out here, something happening, but right now I'm assuming that no, there's nothing happened there because we didn't have any pressure out here. We really only had the timing chain jump out here, which in theory didn't give us any distress or anything out here. So we're going to put them, continue going and start getting a few bits and pieces in here. Guys, little fast pointer for anyone that might be in this same position. All I do, where we're going, here, I just give it a little nip of an angle grinder, straight across, and then a screwdriver, and that actually just screwed out for me, okay? So no fancy, this valve, I go in 1, 2 millimeter, which just gives me a little cut across the top, if that makes sense. See? For my screwdriver to go in. And luckily, I get new bolts with the timing kit sitting there. Woo! So the bolts are in that. And then the top bit is only going to be sitting into that roll pin. Okay? That's the one that was damaged. We now are going to have that renewed, all right? Rolled on a bit further, guys. Everything's starting to come together a little bit. We have that stud taken out. I have the time and chain kit fitted on. Locking tools, as we are aware, sitting in place here and sitting in place down there. I didn't open off the phasers, but everything else is gone on, torqued and ready to rock and roll. Just looking, it's actually tension. It doesn't come out very far on this thing. She was out about 35 mil or so on the last one, the old chain. So big stretch on it, but here we are anyway. We're getting back together. We're going to now start. I put in a little silver sealer just down there, and that's kind of it. Yeah, time for it to, the time and cover maybe to go on now at this stage. As I said, I was going to put on my exhaust. I didn't, and I didn't put on the intake manifold yet, but maybe I'll just close up this side and then roll back into the easy bits. Seeing as I'm in the middle of it, I may as well keep on going. Little guide up here. All the bits and pieces that were in it have been taken out. Lovely. But yeah, that's her. Time for a timing cover to go on. I better clean it up and then stick it on first. Okay. Everything seems to be rotating away as it should do. I have the new water pump fitted. parts washer is kind of out of commission today, so I'm going to have to do it at a later stage. But she's up on a bit of sealer, the dancing man gasket on it and everything as it should do. Seems to be open, closing valves, no bother whatsoever. She's rotating away. Happy out too. I've reinstated my engine mounting, alternator belt, water pump pulley. Then I sat on the rocker cover after we done them couple of rotations around, and then I came over here and then I realised the next task that I didn't focus on when my engine was out. I had a bolt that sheared on a water housing here on the side of the head. If I had it out, I'd have a whole load more room, but I don't have. I have had oxyacetylene over there. I done my generic little lip of the hand grinder and I have it out now. It wasn't as easy. I actually put it back in because I was getting, I was like, no, I don't want this to happen. But anyway, here we are and we have it out at this stage. But yeah, they don't always run off the plan. Things break, unfortunately, and this creates time implications and cost implications for whoever it may be. But yeah, that bit is done at this stage and we're rolling on anyhow. Getting back together, intake manifold on, I'm just rolling on, trying to get on a couple of bits and pieces. Water pipes, a couple of bolts going to the air conditioning pump down there and the air box and stuff, etc. Fresh oil in it and filter gone into her. That's kind of it. We're getting close to a turn of the key in a little while. I'm going to bolt on another one or two items and then we'll get in for the first turn and see what happens. Okay, time I think for the first turn of the key. We'll jump in, see what has happened or will happen. Let's try and squeeze in here at this stage. And we'll have to probably, if I can get into this little car, we'll have to probably do one or two little turns of the key, seal the fuel pump, prime and stuff. I'm thinking I'd like to hear a pump running, but I don't hear a pump running at this point. It starts, it runs fast, but it's got to quieten down. Doesn't sound fantastically great at the startup. It's coming back though. Maybe we'll run for a couple of seconds and see what we come up against. Okay guys, she's running not too bad. I have a rad fan going mad here, but I know it is because I didn't put on the block connectors on the AC pump. I'm going to give this a little couple of miles. Let the dust settle down, clear faults, and maybe give it a wash and make sure everything's right before I start getting our kind of set up to go out. That is it. Go for a couple of miles. Okay guys, she is up, she is running, and I still have that. This is only kind of the first initial spin, but I'm thinking that I'm not going to drive this thing for 2 or 3 days. It's a petrol car, so they kind of do what they're meant to do, thank goodness. But I'm going to get rid of this code 16 and the code, was it the code 16 and the code 82, and the tyre pressure monitor light when I get back. We do have a tyre on the left hand front which is in a bad way, and we also have brake pads nearly steel on the back, but that is neither here or there on my job. What we're actually just doing is our cylinder head. What's the story and what are we going to take from this? I'm going to actually pull in here and I suppose to do our final thought or whatever we want to call it at this point in time. It's still out in the dark, and as I said there, I still have a couple of little bits and pieces to do on it when I get back, but what you think is going to happen doesn't always happen, i.e. bolts breaking, roll pins, shards of plastic gone down into the sump, having to get them out of it. Yeah, a little bit. So the book time, which might have been 10, 12 hours of this maybe it would even tell you 6 or 8, God knows. I actually purely physically don't know, but a lot of ye will know that the book time and the reality time does not sometimes match up, that there's always a bit of a discrepancy, because the book time is where they have possibly a new vehicle that they disassemble, do something on it and reassemble it. But in our case, and a lot of our cases, we have cars that could be, 5, 10, 15 years old, bolts in there with years and years and years. They don't come out quite as easy as just zzz. So there's discrepancies and variations here. So the book time and the reality time can be different. This didn't run on long, but in saying that, I had the challenges that we have seen there. Anyway, guys, for this one, a little 1.4, I can't remember if it's 2015 or what it is. I think it's 2015. Opel Astra, Vauxhall actually in this case, 1.4 petrol. But guys, please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you on this cartoon. Peter Kennedy, signing out. See you later, guys.